Tonight, another shooting is raising new questions about safety here at NIU. A few residents are ruffling feathers around town, and we have some important advice for the holidays you don't want to miss. NTC News Tonight starts now.
From the Northern Television Center at Northern Illinois University in DeKalb, you're watching DeKalb County's only television news source. This is NTC News Tonight.
Mr. Trey Kill is currently charged with the offenses of first-degree murder, aggravated discharge of a firearm, and aggravated battery with a firearm.
School officials are feeling pressure as more questions are arising about student safety here at NIU. Good evening, I'm Ryan Whitehouse. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Jorge Rodas. NIU student Stephen Agee was murdered at an off-campus party during Thanksgiving break last week. Reporter Scott Hudek has the story.
This was an isolated incident that occurred as a result of an argument during a party that was held at 809 Edgebrook.
Stephen Agee was fatally shot while at a party early last Wednesday morning. 19-year-old Chaz Traykill is now being held at DeKalb County Jail.
Mr. Traykill is currently charged with the offenses of first-degree murder, aggravated discharge of a firearm, and aggravated battery with a firearm.
Friends say that 22-year-old Agee had big dreams and an even bigger heart, but all of that is gone now.
A lot of ambition. Had a bright future. Wanted to be, I believe, in the Air Force, correct?
But the NIU campus is no stranger to violence. A memorial stands at Cole Hall, the site of the 214 shootings. NIU star football player Devin Butler was shot and seriously injured at a party near campus only a year ago. And it was also last year when 19-year-old Antoinette Keller went missing and her remains later found in Prairie Park. Even after yet another high-profile violent crime, NIU still insists that it's a safe campus for students.
We've got a very strong, engaged, involved police force that works very aggressively with our students.
And it is that attitude that school officials feel keeps students safe. Reporting from DeKalb, Scott Hudek, NTC News.
Thanks, Scott. Well, as if students aren't already feeling on edge, on top of everything else, finals are here, and with them comes stress. Everybody's feeling it, and NIU's Health Enhancement wants to help you deal with it. They'll be setting up stress-free zones for students this week. These zones are an area for students wanting to learn some stress managing skills. They're offering several activities like card and board games, coloring, massages, and even therapy dogs. The zones are open from 10 to 3 during the day in the diversions lounge of the Home Student Center. They're also offering evening hours as well. You can find them 5 to 7 in Grant D. Formal Room on Wednesday night, and the same hours Thursday night in the Stevenson Multi-Purpose Room.
Okay, let's stop talking about stress and turn things around to something a little lighter, like chickens. Are they a necessity or a nuisance? That's what the City Council is trying to decide. Reporter Brooke Warren explains.
Most people would picture chickens living on farms, but residents in Sycamore and DeKalb picture them living in their backyards. But if you live in DeKalb, it's illegal, and if you live in Sycamore, residents are left confused.
In Sycamore, there are two conflicting city ordinances. One says you can have chickens, one says you cannot.
This confusion gave Bridget Dominagini and her neighbors the idea to start a group which will clear up these conflicting ordinances. And since it's illegal in DeKalb, Hannah Dwyer is petitioning to change this because she thinks chickens have a lot of benefits.
If you have kids, it's a great way to teach responsibility. It's a great way to teach where your food comes from.
The owners of these chickens like having fresh eggs, but also treat their chickens like pets. However, owning chickens in Sycamore and DeKalb is proving to be a touchy issue. The owners of these chickens had to remain anonymous because of the conflicting city ordinances. Other Sycamore residents even had to rehome their chickens since the police are enforcing the no livestock ordinance. The Sycamore mayor is against allowing chickens, but both groups want to allow just 5 hens per household so it wouldn't be like a farm.
There's chickens in Chicago and Madison and LA. We have chickens in our state's capital. I see it as just a practical way to feed yourself.
With both groups of petitioners moving forward, they hope to have backyard chickens early next year. From Sycamore and DeKalb, Brooke Warren, NTC News.
Thanks, Brooke. The DeKalb group will be hosting an informational meeting for the public in mid-December.
The wait for the MAC championship is over. Tickets for the game are on sale from today until tomorrow at the Campus Life building. NIU students can buy a package for $10, which includes a bus trip to Detroit as well as lunch. For the students who are only interested in the game, the ticket is free. For more information, call 815-753-1421.
The interest of iPads, Kindles, and Nooks has libraries switching from paper to digital books. The DeKalb Public Library is keeping up with technology by providing e-books. E-books are available for download to your computer, laptop, tablet computers, and cell phones. The library has more than 3,000 e-books available. Most e-books available are bestsellers and from popular authors.
I think people really like the portability of ebooks. You know, they're really easy to carry, you know, and as many books as you want in an e-reader, basically, so yeah.
Books are accessible at any time for e-readers, and the book is automatically deleted from the computer or e-reader, which will save both time and money for users.
Before you park your car, look for winter parking restrictions. Starting tomorrow, the City of DeKalb advises to check for the parking restriction, which will be in effect till April 1st. Also look out for designated snow routes, which apply after 2 inches of snow.
Well, we're talking about snow routes, which can only mean one thing. The holidays are here, and it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas out there. And on that note, reporter Jason Frommer has some advice for us.
Well, guys, getting to be that time of year, you know, mid-November, time to break out the holiday lights. You might find, though, some of those lights are dead, got a missing bulb on there. What are you going to do? Well, don't throw it away, because the DeKalb County Health Department has a program just for you.
If something is recyclable, I don't see a reason to throw it into the trash.
Holiday light recycling is something new the health department is trying out this year. They're trying to make it easy for people to drop off their lights, and there's 2 locations pretty close to here. There's one in Sycamore here, and there is also one in DeKalb at the health department itself. Now, this program doesn't just allow people to recycle their holiday lights. It gives them the opportunity to bring in a more energy-efficient light to their holiday decorations. A lot of the LED lights that are sold in stores are far more energy efficient than the older light strands that were previously being used.
I think it's great. I have seen the program working with household light bulbs, and I think it's good that extends to decorative lights as well.
Now, what's happening here is Elgin Recyclery is working with the health department on this project. They're waiving the fees for the light recycling, and they're taking rope lights, regular holiday lights. They're even taking extension cords if you drop those off. Those are all being recycled. This is Jason Frommer reporting live from Sycamore for NTC News. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Jason. But before you go putting up those lights on trees, we have some important safety tips. You definitely want to keep them in mind.
And to help us out with that, we've asked Lieutenant Luke Howison from the DeKalb Fire Department. Lieutenant, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a video from YouTube we want to play to help remind people just how dangerous keeping live trees can be.
How many of these types of fires are recorded each year?
Nationally, there's about 250 fires reported from live Christmas trees every year in the United States. And then there's another 170 fires a year from lights and other decorations.
Do we know how many occur in this county?
Within DeKalb, it varies every year, so it's easier to keep national statistics.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see how quickly the fire spreads in this video.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. A fire usually doubles in size every 10 seconds.
So what's the #1 mistake people make that cause them?
With the Christmas trees, if you're going to use a live tree, we want to make sure they're a fresh cut tree. The needles aren't falling off, and we want to make sure we water them. And once they get to the point where they're starting to dry out and all that, we want to make sure we dispose of them properly and get them out of the house. And then the lighting on the trees also, we want to make sure the wires aren't frayed and that they're properly plugged in and wouldn't cause a fire on the tree.
Okay, now besides tree fires, we've also seen a rise in cooking fires. Here's another demonstration video. Now, what precautions should people take when they're frying turkeys like this one?
Well, with frying turkeys, we want to make sure we do it away from the house. A lot of people tend to do them on their wooden decks or porches, and it's important to do the frying away from the house so that it doesn't catch the house or a garage or other structure on fire.
That is a very dramatic scene we're looking at.
Yes, and then the point right there, you know, frying outside away from the house and not overfilling the container and keeping an eye on it. A lot of people, cooking fires also in the home on your stove, a lot of people leave the fire unattended and it ends up having a lot of damage to the homes.
Now we understand these fryers are becoming really popular.
Yes, they're very popular, and thankfully in the last few years here in DeKalb we haven't seen a lot of fires from these fryers, so it appears that people are using them properly in town. But we've had a very major rise in cooking fires on the stove in the community in the last couple of years here.
Okay, and why do you think that is?
It's hard to say. It's people's habits and what they're cooking, potentially. Nationally, cooking fires run about 40% of the fires. In DeKalb right now, we're over 50%. And the other problem we have in DeKalb right now is the fires are extending outside the container, and that's up 117%.
Right.
So.
And what would explain that there?
There's hard to have an exact explanation. Like I said, you know, some of the causes are people are leaving them unattended, or they're frying a lot with oils, or not keeping their stovetops clean. But the biggest thing is paying attention to what you cook and being attentive to it. A lot of people fall asleep or they leave the house, stuff like that.
So it explains why you're here telling us this information now for the people at home. Huh?
Yes.
All right, well, we want to thank you for coming in. And we know the holidays are so busy that people oftentimes forget some of the little but very important precautions.
Yeah, thank you. And we wish you and you out there a safe and happy holiday. But that's not all. Weather is coming up, and Eric Burke is going to talk about how Old Man Winter is fast approaching.
This is fine. Thanks.
And welcome back, and it's safe to say that all the rain and wind we've had the past 2 days has finally pushed off to our east and leaving behind it some fairly seasonable temperatures. 23-year low this morning, a high of 40. I do see us warming up another degree or so before the sun sets. If you look at our temperatures, they are right around average. Highs around the area today, 43 in Chicago, 41 Detroit, 40 in DeKalb, and 44 in Davenport. You're lucky, you're the hot spot. Current radar showing a long line of snow showers working all the way from Montana through the Dakotas and into Minnesota. And if we zoom in, we can really see that these snow showers have passed Minneapolis, St. Paul, now working through regions of La Crosse and even into the Wisconsin Dells. Northern Wisconsin along the Lake Superior shoreline is expected to see the most snowfall, mainly areas like Ashland. Visible satellite showing just a few upper-level clouds in our area, but you can see all the moisture off to our west that is going to work its way overnight, and we are going to see some partly cloudy skies. But until then, here's your view looking west, high atop Davis Tower, and you can actually see some of those light cirrus clouds way up there. Feels like temperature 40 degrees right now at DeKalb Taylor Municipal Airport. Feels like 36 with the wind chill. Very dry air mass, relative humidity just 25%, and the winds out of the west at 7 miles per hour. A lot calmer winds we've seen from Monday and Tuesday. Quick look at the surface mass. We are under a ridge of high pressure, which is giving us the clearing skies and cooler temperatures, and behind it we are getting some of that Arctic air being dragged in by the high pressure system. Into tomorrow, the low is knocking on our door, but tomorrow we still have clear skies, temperatures very seasonable. Into Friday, we are going to see a light dusting of snow, little to no accumulation in some areas, but the cold front does pass. This is more of a wind shift line more than anything, as our temperatures are only going to drop a degree or so. Forecast for tonight, partly cloudy skies, rather chilly evening, low of just 26, so a jacket necessary on your walk to the library to begin studying for your finals. And the winds are out of the southwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Lows around the area tonight, 26 Joliet, 25 Rockford, 26 in DeKalb, and 26 in Davenport as well. Into tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. Temperatures very seasonable once again, high of 43s. Winds out southwest, 5 to 10 miles an hour. And that cold front does pass. Our winds shift northwesterly, 5 to 10, low of 27 tomorrow night with cloudy skies. And once again, we are going to see a light dusting of snow, mainly north of the I-88 corridor. Remember, you can catch this broadcast as well as our previous broadcasts on the Department of Communications website. Add us as a friend on MySpace, or you can even follow us on Facebook. More importantly, here's a look at your next 5 days. I'll step out of the way so you can see this. Thursday, once again, 43 your high, and we are going to see a dusting of snow overnight. Into Friday, 37 with sunny skies. Saturday, a rainy one, 40 your high. Sunday, another dusting of snow, 36 is your high, and partly cloudy skies, a rather chilly high of 31 to start your work week and finals week. And we are going to get hit with another blast of Arctic air by the middle of next week. Now back to George and Ryan at the news desk.
I don't know if I'm ready for snow yet. Thanks, Eric. Now we have state lines and world news to talk about. That's just ahead.
I'm in the honors program here at NIU. The Honors House is a place where honors students can live together. I lived in the Honors House as a freshman, so I got to meet people right off the bat. I was with students who were in the same kinds of classes as me. So living in the Honors House just meant I had that group to start off with. Living with other honors students made all the difference in my experience, so why go anywhere else?
Northern Illinois University, learning today,
leading tomorrow.
A deadly plane crash in a suburb last night.
And a new discovery in an old mystery. These are today's state lines.
Federal crash investigators are working to figure out what caused a medical transport plane to crash last night in River Woods, northwest of Chicago. A patient and his wife and the pilot died in the crash. 2 other people are hurt but are expected to survive.
Another piece of the John Wayne Gacy mystery has been solved. The Cook County Sheriff says one of the serial killer's 8 unknown victims has been identified through DNA technology. The remains of those William Bundy, who was 19 when he vanished in 1976.
Officials say some research will have to be restarted from scratch after vandals ruined projects in an Eastern Illinois University chemistry lab. The vandals struck during the Thanksgiving break and caused thousands of dollars in damage.
Holiday shopping means a lot fewer empty parking spaces at the mall and more tickets for illegal parking in handicapped spaces. The Secretary of State says the agency issued 31 citations during Thanksgiving weekend as part of a crackdown that will continue through December.
Students storm an embassy in the Middle East.
And one major airline announces bankruptcy. Here's what's happening in today's World Watch.
Britain says it is withdrawing some staff and dependents from its embassy in Tehran. Yesterday, Iranian students stormed the building, breaking down the door and throwing rocks at windows. Britain's Foreign Office criticized Iran, claiming that under international law, it has a duty to protect diplomats and embassies.
Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has kicked off a 2-day visit to Myanmar. Clinton is meeting the country's military leaders and having dinner with pro-democracy figure Aung San Suu Kyi. On the agenda, urging leaders to allow greater human rights and make reforms. Clinton is the first U.S. Secretary of State to visit the impoverished South Asian country in more than 50 years.
Well, more than 200 people have been arrested in an overnight police raid at the Occupy Los Angeles camp at City Hall. Police moved in after protesters defied a Monday morning deadline to clear out. And in Philadelphia, about 50 protesters were arrested when police stormed to take down Occupy tents.
American Airlines' parent company is filing bankruptcy. The company says it is a strategic move to restructure debt and costs, especially with union employees. The airline says their bankruptcy filing won't affect flight schedules for American Eagle, and its other subsidiaries. And that's today's World Watch.
So for the Lady Huskies, last night ended well.
Yeah, and here to tell us all about it is Brooke Warren with sports.
Yeah, it was a tight game last night, guys. The Lady Huskies were down 50-49 with 13 seconds left against Southern Illinois when Alicia Johnson gave NIU the lead. The Salukis tried forcing overtime with 2 seconds left, but the Huskies were able to hang on to win their 6th game in a row, giving them a 3-3 record. In Cubs news, Greg Maddux is leaving the team again. He's joining his brother in the Rangers organization. Also, the Cubs are showing interest in both Albert Pujols and Prince Fielder. NIU quarterback Chandler Harnish has the chance to finish the year with over 3,000 passing yards and 1,500 rushing yards. On the Blackhawks, they played last night at the United Center hosting the Phoenix Coyotes, and it was a rough game from the start. The Hawks honored Chicago's fallen former First Lady Maggie Daley before the game. We pick up the action first period, the Coyotes with some nifty passing in the offensive zone to Damon Langkow, who somehow finds a way to score to put Phoenix up 1-0. In the second period, now Coyotes on the odd man rush when Shane Doan scores on the one-timer. And Phoenix goes on to win this 4-1. And now it's time for your play of the day. For that, we have some college basketball, Baylor taking on Prairie View. Baylor has the ball. They're already up big in the second. Fred Ellis gets the ball, looks around, and passes to Deuce Bello, who dunks it. Let's take a look at that again. Bello gets the ball and makes a great play. Baylor goes on to win this one 90-54, and that's your play of the day. Astros bullpen coach Jamie Quirk is now the bench coach for the Cubs' new manager, Dale Swaim.
Oh, that's good.
Thanks, Brooke. They're really making big changes there. And now, Jessica Kirk is going to tell us how some hunks are getting noticed around campus and not for their looks.
This is just a typical night of rehearsal here for the Husky Hunks, an all-male a cappella group at NIU consisting of 9 students. Freshmen Trent Snyder and Will Kirby came from a high school who had an a cappella group of its own, and they wanted to continue that here at NIU.
When we came to the NIU, we looked at and saw that there was no a cappella groups here, so we decided to make our own.
It didn't take long for word to spread and for others to be interested.
And then I saw that NIU was going to start their very own, so I decided, what the heck, why not try out?
The boys cover many different genres of music. A few include pop, classical, rock, and jazz. They base the songs they sing on what the students want to hear and are already listening to.
With popular shows like Glee, the Husky Hunks were able to get some inspiration for their performances around campus.
Even though the show is a good inspiration, the group makes it their own by singing a cappella style.
I sometimes watch it and look at some of the dance moves they might do for the choreography that we do.
The Hunks can be found performing in residence halls, the student center, and around other parts of campus. For students who are interested in joining, auditions will be held the week after Thanksgiving.
I thought hunks only existed in the newsroom.
Well, I'm impressed. They weren't too bad. Thanks, Jessica.
Yeah, not too shabby. Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone.
NTC News Tonight is produced and directed by students here at Northern Illinois University.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be back this same time tomorrow. Keep warm out there. Thanks for watching.
Goodbye, everyone.